Hey friends, welcome back to my channel Organized with Joy, and welcome to another Thoughtful Thursday video. And before we get into it, I just decided, I was looking at myself in the camera before I started filming and noticed that I'm wearing a shirt, a graphic t-shirt, and you can't see what it says. And if I was watching this video, I would be super annoyed by it and trying to figure out what that t-shirt said the whole video. So I will show you. This t-shirt says Woman of the House. So that's what that says. If you were wondering. If you were not wondering, then I apologize for interrupting this video. But today I wanted to talk to you about intentional living and specifically about something called essentialism. I actually recently learned about this idea of essentialism. I took a class on Skillshare about essentialism. The class was taught by a gentleman who wrote a book about essentialism. It's actually called Essentialism. His name is Greg McKeown. And I really loved this idea of essentialism. It is very adjacent to intentional living, which I do talk a lot about on my channel. So hopefully I can concisely sum up what he says essentialism is, and then kind of talk to you about what it means to me to live intentionally and to live with this idea of essentialism. So the basic core idea of essentialism is when you say yes to one thing, that means you have to be saying no to something else, or perhaps a group of something else, lots of other things. Being intentional just means paying attention to what you're saying yes to and making sure what you're saying yes to aligns with your core values and with your goals in life. I do have to say, it kind of took me a long time in life to learn to say no. I am a people pleaser by nature. I don't like letting people down, and I certainly don't like saying no to people. And I'm not perfect at this. I still sometimes say yes when I really want to or need to say no, but I do feel like I have gotten better at saying no, and saying no doesn't have to be a negative thing. I think sometimes we believe that people who say no are rude or inconsiderate or don't care about other people, and I think that's the part of the reason why I struggle saying no, because I don't want to come across as someone who is uncaring. One thing that I have learned about saying no is there is a correct way to say no, or in my opinion, there is a kind way to say no. And it is to be firm and to hold to your no when someone asks you to do something and you don't have the time, energy, money to do that thing. To be firm about your no, but also do so graciously. I think that when you are kind and gracious with saying no, that the person who is having to receive that will respect you and appreciate that. I did want to share a quote from Greg McKeown that I really liked related to this idea of saying no to things and choosing what you should say yes to and what you should say no to. And the quote is this: "If it isn't a clear yes, then it's a clear no." I really liked this quote because I could relate to this quote. I feel like sometimes I waver in saying yes, and ultimately it's because it's something that I should be saying no to, but I waver because of this people-pleasing mentality and not wanting to make somebody feel bad or not wanting to upset someone. But know that when you have that wavering, a lot of times it just means it does not line up with your goals in life. It does not line up with what you are trying to achieve. So one of the things that I wanted to talk about with regards to making decisions about a yes or a no when you're thinking about doing things in life is this idea that your brain needs to be healthy and strong to make those decisions. If you are unhealthy or tired or any number of things in life, stressed, all of these things cause you to struggle to make decisions. So really focusing on being healthy, eating healthy, getting plenty of water, getting plenty of rest, and exercise, all of these things will help your brain to function best so that you can make these decisions and really focus in on your why in life and your goals in life so that you know that what you're saying yes to really aligns with the direction you are trying to head in life. I think it is so important to focus on your why. You might have heard me say this before, maybe in a Thoughtful Thursday, maybe in an Instagram stories, who knows? But I do talk about this a lot, at least in my real life. I think it is important to focus on your why. Why are you doing the things you are doing? And focus on what are your goals in life and what is the direction that you are trying to head, and does this decision that you're making right now align with those goals and that direction that you want to be heading? I did want to talk about too, I just mentioned a little bit earlier that I'm not always perfect at saying no when I should say no and yes when I should say yes. So I did want to mention that sometimes it is okay and important to uncommit to things. I think I have mentioned before the author Bob Goff. He wrote the book Love Does. He actually has several books, but Love Does is kind of his famous book. I'm pretty sure that was the first book he wrote. But he talks about in his podcast and in that book about quit something every Thursday. I don't know if he really does this, or if he's just saying be intentional about like consistently thinking about the things you're doing and then choosing something to quit so that you have space in your life to do something else. So being really intentional with uncommitting when you have to uncommit. And I know for me, it's really hard to do that because I am a people pleaser, and when I have to kind of go back on my word and uncommit, it is very difficult for me to do that. So I can relate to that for sure, but I do think it's important to recognize when you have said yes and you're kind of in the midst of it, and then recognizing, hey, this doesn't align with my goals, this doesn't align with the direction I am trying to head. Then being okay with uncommitting to that and saying to yourself, I have to uncommit to this because there is an end goal and I am trying to go this direction, and this thing I said yes to that I thought was good and I thought was heading me in that direction, I now realize isn't heading me in that direction. So it is okay to say no after you've already committed. And kind of adjacent to this is the idea of boundaries and making sure that you have boundaries in your life with friends, family, coworkers. And when you do need to uncommit, like I mentioned before, to be very firm, yes, to be gracious, to be kind, but also to be firm when you uncommit, and don't waver, because you know what's best for you. You know what's gonna help you achieve those goals in life. A couple more things I wanted to talk about with regards to the idea of intentional living or living in essentialism is really focusing on your progress. So often I think we get caught up in what we have to do and everything we need to achieve next and what's ahead. Instead, to really focus on your progress and to celebrate small wins. When you celebrate those small wins along the way, it just helps you to feel more motivated. It helps you to feel like you are making progress and you are moving towards your goals. And so definitely appreciate those small wins and notice them and celebrate them. Also, I wanted to talk about something. I actually have an entire video about routines, but I wanted to mention with intentional living how important routines are. And the reason routines are so important is because when you do things via routine, you don't even have to think about them anymore. It is just something it's almost like muscle memory in your brain, and it frees up brain space for creativity, for making those decisions about what's important and what's not important, and it just allows for you to be more intentional with your life and with your decisions. The last thing I wanted to talk about is something Greg McKeown talks about in his book Essentialism, and that is the idea of really focusing on what is important now, what is important right now. And I have another quote from him that I wanted to share with you, and it is this: take a deep breath, get present in the moment, and ask yourself, what is important this very second? So in moments when you have to make decisions, when you're looking at your day ahead or your week ahead or your month ahead, when you are making these decisions, you need to truly think about what is important. And this could be like something big, like maybe a value you have. What's important? Maybe you value developing good relationships with your kids. And then you have to think about the everyday steps you have to take to get to that point where you have developed a good relationship with your children. Or maybe you want to be healthy. You have to think about every decision that you have to make each day in order to get to that point of health and wellness. So getting present, being in the moment, and really thinking about what is important right now, this very second, can really help you to make decisions that align with your values, align with your goals, and will help you to head in the direction that you want to be heading in life. Well, I hope this video encouraged you or inspired you in some way today. I would love to hear from you down in the comments. Please let me know if this idea of essentialism or living intentionally resonates with you today and how you incorporate this into your own life. If you are not yet subscribed to my channel, I would love for you to consider subscribing. Thanks so much for watching this video today, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.